you want to introduce this week?
I do. We're going to review some music today because that's what we do in this series. Okay, the first track that we are going to review today is called Moonshine by a band from Sheffield called Springfall.
I guess I'll lie away. Got nothing else to do today but sit and wait for this hangover to slowly fade. I've got to do this by myself. Moonshine, moonshine, send me to sleep tonight.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say I think you nailed the emotion in that song really well. I think it feels kind of bittersweet and a little bit lonely, which is maybe what the song was going for, given the whole thing that you describe yourselves as emo. I also think that you crossed between indie and emo without going anywhere near pop punk, which I think is a really good thing. I think a lot of indie shoegaze emo kind of stuff goes a little bit too close to pop punk for my liking nowadays, but that didn't, so yeah, I'm very happy about that. The only thing that I would suggest is the vocals in the song feel a little bit cliche, and maybe that's just because I've had a very long time of listening to this kind of area of music, but it seems a little bit too... It's very predictable. I can kind of tell what's going to come next in every section, which is maybe a good thing, maybe not, depending on which side of the fence you sit on about the genre. I also think it's not as tight as it could be. Like, there were some sections where the snare was just like a quarter of a beat too late, and it wasn't like spot on all the time. But as you say, it was a demo. It's got the makings of a very good song, so bravo. Also, I like the fact that you didn't overly distort the rhythm guitars. Like, it still had kind of the indie crunch, but without like whacking the distortion on all the way. I think that if you did have too much distortion on the guitars, it would just be a pop punk song. So I would keep doing what you're doing. When you record it properly, make sure that you're very tight, and yeah, very good. Bravo.
I would say, other than maybe what Joe was on about, where there's some bits that are a little bit sloppy, I think that it's good enough to maybe not be a demo. You've got it down in the title of the video that it's a demo. I mean, yeah, maybe keep it as a demo if you think, oh, we can do much better than this and we're going to get a really top quality recording of this song done. Maybe do keep it as a demo, but I think that with proper artwork, with the video, with proper press stuff, with everything around it, that song is good enough to not need to be classed as a demo. The harmonies that you got going, like in the verses when you were singing a bit lower, that really dig those harmonies. I mean, not to say that the harmonies in the other parts of the song weren't any good, it's just I really dig those. I'm not overly keen on the riff that you use like in the intro bit, and I think you use it after the first chorus. Not overly keen on the riff, but that's just down to taste. I just don't particularly care for it. The bridge that you did was the most predictable thing that I think I've ever heard in a song. Maybe, again, we've spent a lot of time within this genre, but as soon as that like second chorus ended, and then it like died down, and then like the drums started doing like a tom bit, and it was... I'm sorry to say that I did actually like sigh, because it's been done by so many bands. Like, every band in that genre has a song that dies down like that, and like all the guitars go really washed out, and the drums go to like just plain toms, and then halfway through another guitar part comes in, and then ooh, getting bigger, and then oh, we're into the next section. And I don't know, if you like it, keep it, but it's almost like a cliche now for a band of the genre that you're in to do that kind of breakdown. Like, I know a band, Real Friends, which do stray heavily into pop punk, have the kind of thing going on like you do. There's a very specific thing that one of the guitarists in Real Friends does, where like bends a thing, and Joe will always call that thing, oh, that's the Real Friends thing. You do that. I believe it's actually in that bridge section as well, and they do that kind of breakdown a lot. Just be aware that it may sound a little bit cliche. On the whole, really, really good song. Like it. If you are going to just call it a demo and you plan on doing some bigger and better recordings at a later date, awesome, because this is a really, really good start. Good job. Also, you come from Sheffield, and we come from Sheffield, so. The next song is by Cherry Hex and the Dream Church, and their song, Honeypot.
Your moonbeam skin, your peppermint electric glimmer from the TV.
like it. The kind of ambience, the laid back kind of feel that you got, really dig. Last year I was really into Daughter, and I think that has kind of the same vibes, that kind of more chilled kind of vibes. It's like, we don't need to be overly catchy and we don't need to be big and upbeat, we're just gonna have some chilled music. Dig it. I'll start with the thing that I didn't like. There's the hi-hat in it, which is an obviously like kind of hip-hop style hi-hat. I think it's fine, but there's bits where it goes quite quick. It goes from like doing 8th notes to 16ths, where it does like double, and I don't like that. I think it kind of takes away from the rest of the track. The rest of the track is kind of flowing, and then it's like on the hi-hats, and I particularly don't like it. The yo-yo kind of synth that you've got going on, like the sound of it is kind of cool and odd, and it's taking something that like might typically be in like a breakdown of like a dubstep song or whatever, and adding it to what you're doing really kind of works. Really like it. The vocal hook is really cool. The normally in a track, if the chorus is just one line kind of repeated, I'd be like, oh, it's really boring, change it up. But in the style that you're doing, I think it works. In the last chorus, you do kind of 2 choruses, I believe, where it's twice as long. Maybe try and evolve that vocal melody that you're doing, so that in that second half it's doing something different. Maybe you change up the notes a little bit, or something, so that it keeps that interesting, so that you're not just doing 4 for the chorus, 4 for the chorus, and then 8 for the chorus. You're actually doing 4 and then 4 that are maybe a little bit different. That kind of spices up the end of the songs. A lot of bands do that kind of thing, so look into it and just kind of see what maybe you could do with that vocal melody for the end of the song to make sure that it keeps it really interesting. Yeah, that's it from me. It was good. Like it. I would listen to that shit. Good.
I also really liked it. It was weird as fuck, but yeah, I really liked that. I liked how eerie it felt. You captured the whole ambient, dark, atmospheric thing really well, and that's kind of hard to do, so bravo on that front. I think for some more impatient people, it does have a risk of sounding a bit draggy, and that's not really, I don't know, I'm not really sure how you could remedy that. I mean, when the hi-hat part comes in, I think something else should kind of come in as well to kind of boost the whole texture of the song, as opposed to just adding something in, maybe a higher synth or a pad or something like that. I don't know, just something to kind of build the momentum throughout the song. But if you're going for a really minimalist atmospheric thing, then keep it as it is. It works really well. I don't think it's for people who
listen to just pop or whatever aren't going to like it anyway, so don't try and cater to people who want.
Yeah, you've got your thing. It sounds really good. Continue to do it. That is it.
Yeah, good song. Not much to say on it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Please send us more stuff.
The next song is called Meet by a guy called Seth Lockwood. Okay, that was also a very weird electronic style song. We don't get many electronic songs through, do we?
I'm pleasantly surprised by the quality of the electronic songs, though. Like, generally, like, when we were at college and stuff, when we were making electronic stuff, they were far worse than just the band songs that we're making. But on the whole, if we put together all of the band stuff that we've been sent for the reviews and all the electronic stuff that we've sent for the reviews, I think the electronic stuff actually sets a higher bar. Odd. But I dig it.
The thing that kind of puts me off about this song is when it first comes in and it has the synth and it has the weird snare drum thing that's going on. I don't think those 2 parts gel very well until the bass part comes in. Maybe that's intentional. Maybe you thought, I'll have 2 parts that sound a bit clashy, and then they kind of fuse together by the bass that comes in later. But at first, to, again, an impatient listener, I think that could turn a lot of people off. I liked how varied it was. It had a lot of different sounds going on, a lot of different sections, a lot of different melodies and stuff, and I think it all worked really well. However, I don't think you really nailed the emotion that you were trying to put across with the song. It didn't really feel like this song is about this certain thing or about a certain emotion, and I don't really think it portrayed emotion overly well. Maybe it wasn't intended to do that, but I think, for me, I prefer when songs are clear with what emotion or feeling they're trying to put across, and that song wasn't for me. I don't know. I really liked the bass synth sound that you had going on. I thought that worked really well in the style of song that you were using, and I liked how varied it was. It was an interesting piece. Maybe it wasn't intended to be overly emotional, so just keep doing what you're doing.
I'm gonna recommend doing something, and I've never recommended doing this before, but I think for you specifically, this will work really, really well. I wouldn't go down the normal route of, I'm an artist making music, please listen to my music. Because I can't see many people sat on the way to work with headphones in listening to this kind of track. Or, I don't know, filling a Spotify playlist and putting your track in it kind of thing.
Well, it comes with the territory of this kind of music, isn't it?
It's not that the track that you've done is terrible and no one should listen to it, because that's far from the truth. It's just a case of that the track itself doesn't necessarily lend itself to being a commercial track, shall we say. Or commercial song, because it's more of like a piece of music as opposed to a song. The fact that you use quite a lot of like raw synths, by raw I just kind of mean not overly complex synths. It kind of has kind of like an old game kind of feel to it, like an 8-bit kind of feel. Obviously it's not using 8-bit or anything, but it has that kind of feel to it. I would recommend going and finding some game studios that are kind of low level, maybe a few people working on games, because they won't have a person making music for them. A lot of time they will commission an artist to make music for their game. I would recommend maybe considering doing that, because this music that you are making would be perfect for like kind of a dark sci-fi kind of game. This would be almost really, really good as like menu music or just like background music in the game or whatever. I just think it's really cool and would suit to that nicer than it would suit to just a general listening audience. On SoundCloud you tagged your track as like dance, and I'd almost totally disagree with that. I can't see anyone, I get that it's obviously just a name of a genre, but I can't see anyone ever dancing to that music. I don't think it's that kind of electronic music. It's really good at being a kind of atmosphere builder, I think. Especially with kind of the variation and stuff that you've got going on, the evolution of it, it kind of lends itself to like game music. So I would recommend doing that. Maybe consider making game music and getting in touch with people who are making games, or at least making games similar to kind of the music that you're making that would portray that kind of thing. Get into it, see what you can do, because I think that'd be a really good avenue for you. Thank you very much for watching this episode of The Reviews. If you want to submit a song for this series, email that email and we will add you to our nice folder of things to review. We're getting through these at a pretty good rate now, so I think all the songs that we are now reviewing have been submitted within the past month. So we're finally caught up. It's only taken us 10 episodes, but we're here. Oh, happy 10 episodes or whatever. We were going to do a special episode, we weren't. This is just going to be a recurring thing that we're just going to fart this series out.
Keep sending us music, because I actually quite enjoy doing this.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more from this series and you want to watch any of the other 9 episodes, click on my side of the screen. And if you want to see our best of playlist, where we obviously teach bands how to be bands and all that kind of shit, there's a best of playlist on your side of the screen. Thank you very much for watching.